It being 7:30 or thereabouts, I hereby call to order the November 13th, 2018 legislative session of Swarthmore Borough Council. All members of council are present, as are Borough Manager Jane Billings and Borough Solicitor Bob Scott. Mayor Tim Carney, Senator-elect Tim Carney, is in Washington today for the festivities. Wish we could all be there. This is the time during legislative session when we have public comment. Is there anyone from the public here today who would care to address council on any issue? Hearing none, public comment period is closed. First item of business is consideration of council meeting minutes of October 9th, 2018 and November 5th, 2018. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion of either set of minutes? If not, let's have a vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes as submitted, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. Environment. Lauren.
Sure. Our only item really is that the EAC ran a little composting demonstration at the farmer's market on Saturday, and Sarah, you were there, right? And I heard it went really well. It was a little windy, but there's never a bad season to learn about composting. And they'll come back and do it again. And again, we are having a meeting on November 28th, the Environment Committee at 7:30.
Thank you, Lauren. Mike, finance.
Yes, start with the financial report for October. As I've been mentioning all year, we had some payments that happened ahead of time, and so this is the month where it finally catches up. So if you look, you can see that expenditures are right as they were a year ago, 82.9% of the full year budget, and also revenues basically as it was last year. The cash balance at the end of October was $1,173,367. And then finally, as I mentioned in the last meeting, we're still anticipating roughly $450,000 at the end of year balance. But maybe it'll be slightly less than that, but still pretty healthy. But there are some bills that have been coming in, somewhat unexpected, but roughly $450,000 at the end of the year, which again is right about where we want to target it, between 5 and 10% of revenues. Any questions about the financial report for October or fund balance or anything else? Okay. Hearing no questions, I'm going to move on to the wire transfers and bills to pay for the month. I'd like to make a motion to approve wire transactions totaling $2,539.84 for October, and also bills to pay of $494,773.46.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll have a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries. The checks and wire transfers are ratified, as are the bills to pay.
Okay. And then finally, as we discussed at last meeting, we can have a discussion if need be, but I'd like to make a motion to advertise the 2019 proposed budget that we've all received and we talked about last week.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the adoption or the advertisement of the proposed 2019 budget? There being none, we'll have a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries. The proposed 2019 budget will be advertised.
Sarah, and
Right.
that would be now. You really,
Oh,
you want it to be in this budget?
I did just mention, I
you
thought
do
I
it
was
again.
mentioned. Next.
Well,
Okay.
you'd have to vote again then, because if
Okay.
this is what you want to advertise and you want to add that,
Sure.
we'll do it again.
Okay. So let's rewind. So it was brought to my attention that one of the budgets that we included, that we agreed to include into the general budget, the library's budget, had an incorrect figure. And that was because they had itemized in the request, the aging in place specific request, for $2,650. And it was itemized just to kind of bring out to specifically say what they were planning on doing with those funds. We were all under the impression that that was then included in the total budget line request at the end of $175,140, when in actuality they submitted both. They had meant to submit both separately. So $175,140 total for the library, and then they teased out the aging in place of $2,650. So when we all agreed, we approved the 175, we did not approve the aging in place $2,650, because I never even brought it to your attention to approve it, because I thought it had already been included in the 175. Does this make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so I just want to bring this up now to say that, I would like to have the $2,650 also included in the budget as part of the library's budget to go towards the aging in place activities that they had outlined in the budget.
I have a dumb question. I thought that don't we give the aging in place money to didn't we already give that money to a different entity, and then the library gets that from them, or do I have that wrong?
It's pretty big. So after the aging in place report came out, I guess it was 2 years ago now, in that letter that we send out to the various organizations, council said, please tell us what you're doing for aging in place and if it's going to cost anything in addition to your regular amount. So this is the third year that little caveat has been in the letter. So I think that the library is the only organization that is still calling out separately the things that they are doing. Remember, SRA took some money the first year and then they didn't ask for it again. And then yes, at the same time, the seniors asked for more money, but I don't think in their request there was anything specifically related to library programming for seniors. So I think the bottom line is we need to look at those letters next year and make it a lot more clear. If you want everything to go through the Senior Citizens Association now, or whether you want it all wrapped up into one budget. But I think the library, and Sarah brought this to my attention over the weekend, we both looked at the letter, and they did call out very specific things that are on top of their normal operating. I didn't bring it in.
I have it, yeah. I mean, do you want to hear?
No, I mean, that's fine. I understand it, but okay.
It needs to be much clearer next year, without a doubt, absolutely.
Okay, I thought we were giving the same money twice.
Right.
And both of the requests, that is to say, the requests from the library and from the Senior Citizens Organization came through your committee, General Government?
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right, well, so it sounds like what we're going to have to do, we're going to need a motion to amend the proposed 2019 budget and a motion to authorize the proposed 2019 budget as amended. And I think the amendment to the budget that you're going to propose, that your motion should be, as specific as you stated to us a minute ago. In other words,
Okay.
by X number of dollars for the following,
Okay.
as part of the library's,
I just see what's
the borough's contribution to the library is what it amounts to.
Okay.
And-
So I'd like to make a motion to amend the budget, the proposed budget, to include in the Swarthmore Public Library budgeted money to increase it from $175,140 to $177,790, which will include the aging in place items.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion of the amendment? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The proposed 2019 budget is so amended. Now let's do it by the book. Have another motion to advertise the amended proposed 2019 budget.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposed amended budget for 2019, to advertise, sorry.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. The proposed amended 2019 budget shall be advertised. Thank you.
Just a note, we still do not have, a couple of things that we're still large, the final police department budget, as well as the CDCA, which is our sewer bill. CDCA is actually unfortunately meeting tonight, and they have not sent me their budget yet. I'll consult with the solicitor. I could make an amendment to this budget. My preference would be to advertise what you proposed and then bring to your attention any changes that are needed in both the expenditure and the revenue side, the first meeting in December. And then, as Bob has repeatedly said, that's the ordinance, the fee and tax ordinance that you really can't change. So we'll certainly know by then, but it's not going to be this budget. We know that there's going to be an increase in those costs and therefore the fee to pay for the sewage treatment in your sewer fee.
And we won't need to advertise it again with
No,
those
I mean,
changes.
no, you're only, the budget you advertise is amendable in all ways after a period of 10 days. So, we have a placeholder in there now
Right.
for CDCA.
Right.
And just that people need to understand it can change. So,
And it's just a pass-through.
Yeah,
Right, so that'll increase the sewer fees that go out of the
Right.
tax
Correct.
bills to.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. Anything else, Mike?
No, that's it. We will not be meeting this month.
Thank you. Sarah, general government?
Nothing new to report, except we're meeting next week, a week from tonight, in here, 7:30, and we have quite a few things to discuss. So, we'll join us.
Great.
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. Maybe it's not Monday, so it's actually Monday, next Monday, which is the 19th.
Because public safety is on that.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're not, yeah, we won't have to fight over the room. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. Betsy, planning and zoning.
Okay, so I'm assuming that we're going to move forward with ordinance 1084, permitting family caregiver suites. Since it's been advertised and a hearing has been held, do I need to make a motion?
yeah, just a motion to adopt the ordinance.
Okay, so I would like to propose a motion to adopt ordinance 1084, permitting family caregiver suites in all zoning districts.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, let's have a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries. The ordinance is passed. Thank you. Anything else?
I believe Planning Commission is meeting next Wednesday, and there is a zoning hearing board meeting next Tuesday?
Fourth Tuesday, so that's
Fourth
2 weeks
Tuesday.
from tonight.
Okay, which is like the 28th or something. And, but the Planning and Zoning Committee will not be meeting due to Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Betsy. Mary, public safety.
Thank you. We have this letter of intent that we want to submit to the Department of Community and Economic Development. I talked about it a little bit last week. I hope you've all had a chance to look at it. It's a one-pager, but we have to have a motion before we submit it. So once again, just for the benefit of anybody who missed it the first time, this has to do with the Swarthmore Fire and Protective Association, and we are asking for assistance from the Department of Community and Economic Development to do a study about the apparatus and the personnel and possibilities for merger and consolidation with nearby fire companies. That doesn't mean we're going to do any of those things, but this is free, so we're going to take advantage of it. So, motion time?
Motion time.
Okay, thank you. I move that we approve the borough manager submitting a letter of intent to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development for technical assistance from the Center for Local Government Services to evaluate current and future apparatus needs of the Swarthmore Fire and Protective Association and possibilities for merger and consolidation with nearby fire companies.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. I have a question. My recollection is that last week, when we were discussing description of the project, we talked about adding a second category personnel.
We were going to add that word.
I have it in the final,
All right.
David, I'm sorry, I didn't redistribute that.
Okay.
The final
So it's in
wording.
there.
But the final wording is, just a second. In conjunction with the Swarthmore Fire Protective Association, one, current and future apparatus and staffing needs of the SF&PA, Swarthmore Fire Protective Association. So yes, it's in the revised.
Okay, all right. Any further discussion? If not, let's have a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Anything else, Mary?
No, thank you. We're going to be meeting here 1 week from tonight, the 20th at 7:30 PM.
Great. Ross, Public Works, Parks and Recreation.
Public Works Committee will meet this Thursday, November 15th at 8:30 in the morning here. And we have two items. The first is resolution number 2018-08, setting standards for use and occupancy certificates in the borough of Swarthmore. So this is a resolution that lists all the pre-existing standards that we've always had, but includes a couple of edits that we discussed last week. Basically requiring people to have backflow protection devices in their basement if they have a drain in the bottom of their basement so sewage can't come back up into their basement, and this is on inspection when the house is being sold. And then also the vents and curb traps have to be inspected to make sure there's no sewage overflow from them. And then the sanitary sewer laterals, there'll be an inspection, make sure there are no sinkholes or potholes above the lateral, which would be an indication of a problem, a leakage problem. And if there are sinkholes or potholes, then the seller has to provide proof through a satisfactory method that the lateral is not allowing non-sewage water in or sewage water out. And those standards apply to change of ownership for single and two-family dwellings, and also for multifamily dwellings and commercial institutional properties when they change ownership. And we also added a paragraph at the end saying that people have to provide access and information about where the sewer lateral is so it can be inspected. And the fact that we're issuing a use and occupancy certificate doesn't impose any liability or guarantee on the part of the borough. It's the homeowner's obligation to make sure they have their property correctly done. So that's the first resolution. So I'll make a motion to pass resolution number 2018-08 as described.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
There's just-
Oh, sorry, Betsy.
I was just, so, and we're hoping to follow up with something to require more regular inspection of commercial and multifamily properties.
That's not the motion that's made at this time. The motion has to do with resolution 2018-08.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. The resolution 2018-08 is adopted.
Okay, and the second item for our committee is resolution number 2018-09, which is titled Resolution Establishing Rules and Guidelines for Alteration to Parks or Property. That's borough parks or property. So it has 4 sections. The first is that a person who wants to alter our parks or property, this is the borough parks or property, has to get a permit in the office. They have to designate a responsible representative to deal with the borough on the application, on the permit. And then the borough is going to have a written agreement about what's going to be altered and what the terms are going to be. And then there are some suggestions on things that the agreement can address, such as the cost and who's going to control aspects of it, and who's going to have various rights to name signs. And then finally, a section on compliance and remedies that says that the borough has the right to inspect before it accepts the alterations. And so that's it. So I will make a motion to pass Resolution 2018-09 as described.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion of Resolution 2018-09?
Was that circulated at some point and I missed it?
Yeah,
Last
once,
week.
last week.
It was
Okay.
discussed last week.
I know we discussed it last week, I didn't remember seeing it. Okay, so would that apply to, like, when the farmer's market or the town center wants to put signs up, or are we talking about more permanent
This is
installation?
permanent physical alteration.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Sure.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Resolution 2018-09 is adopted.
Great, that's all we have. Okay.
Thank you. Mayor and State Senator-elect Tim Carney is in Washington, as I mentioned before. Jane?
And the only thing I have is, if somebody could make a motion to adopt the contract for 2019 street tree removals. We have one bidder again, and this is the fourth year the prices have remained the same.
I will so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? And note, there's no change from the 2018 prices.
I think this was the fourth, is that what I said, the fourth year? I'm pretty sure it's the
Fourth year with no change.
Is that like odd that there's
No
one
bidder?
bidder? Yeah.
Well, considering that we like send it out to people, it's pretty unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's, I don't know what it is.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think we're hard to work for. I don't know if they're just so busy.
They're busy enough that they don't want to make the commitment.
It's a big commitment. I think some of them have personnel issues. It's hard to get people to do the work. So, yeah.
Okay.
But yes, it is absolutely sure.
It's-
Only get one bidder.
All right, any additional discussion? If not, let's have a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the ayes have it. And the bid of, I believe it's Knight Brothers, is that right, Jane, for 2019 street tree removal is approved. Thank you. Anything else, Jane?
No, I don't have anything else.
Thank you, I don't have anything tonight.
All right, is there any other business to come before council at this time? If not,
wait, I'm
go
sorry.
ahead, please.
I just
Yes.
wanted to thank Elise and the borough office for getting the signs up for the bathroom sign.
Oh,
I heard it was, thank you for your effort. I heard that you went above and beyond to get these signs that we wanted, and so I just wanted to acknowledge. And they're up now, so.
I saw a photograph of the sign, they're very nice. I don't know what all the circumstances were, but I echo Sarah's thanks. Any other business?
Are we adjourning into executive session?
Yeah, I'd like a motion to adjourn into executive session.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor,
Who's
say
the
aye.
first?
I did.
Who's the second?
Mine.
All right, we are adjourned into executive session. Thank you, everyone.